What if death is not the moment consciousness ends? What if the first minutes after death are actually the beginning of something far more terrifying? Because for thousands of years, ancient texts, near-death experiences, and even the Bible itself have all described the same strange pattern. Not darkness, not unconsciousness, but awareness after death. People who were declared clinically dead later described hearing voices, seeing their own body from above, and feeling pulled towards something they could not explain. And according to some interpretations, the first 7 minutes after death may be far more important than anyone realizes. Because if consciousness continues after the final heartbeat, then death may not feel like the end at all. It may feel like waking up somewhere else.
Doctors say the human body begins shutting down within seconds after death. The heart stops beating, oxygen disappears, and brain activity starts collapsing almost immediately. But something terrifying keeps appearing in thousands of near-death experiences. People who were declared clinically dead later described hearing voices in the room, watching doctors trying to revive them, and even seeing their own body from above. Some described tunnels filled with light, others described overwhelming peace. But not every story was peaceful, because many ancient cultures believed the soul does not instantly leave this world after death. They believed it passes through something first, a transition, a crossing between the physical world and whatever comes next. And according to some traditions, that separation may be far more conscious than anyone realizes. The Bible never actually describes death as simple non-existence. Instead, it repeatedly describes separation. The body remains behind, but something else continues. And this is where the subject becomes deeply unsettling. Ancient Jewish writings described the dead as aware, conscious, and waiting in a hidden realm called Sheol. Not heaven, not hell, but something in between. A place beyond the physical world where the soul remained conscious after death. And if those ancient beliefs were true, then an uncomfortable question appears immediately. What does the soul experience during those first moments after the body dies? Because if consciousness continues, then death may not feel like darkness at all. It may feel like waking up somewhere else. Millions of people across different countries, religions, and cultures have reported nearly identical near-death experiences. Many describe floating above their body, hearing conversations in the room, seeing light, feeling pulled somewhere they could not control. Some even described shadow-like figures watching them from the darkness, while others described a presence that seemed to know every detail of their life. And the strangest part is that many of these experiences happened while doctors detected little or no measurable brain activity, which should not have been possible, unless consciousness is not entirely produced by the brain. And that possibility changes everything humanity thinks it knows about death.
Some researchers notice something strange in certain medical cases. Small traces of brain activity sometimes continued for minutes after clinical death. And that led to a disturbing theory. What if awareness does not disappear immediately? What if the first moments after death are not instant oblivion, but a terrifying realization that you are no longer alive? Ancient traditions believed the soul could still perceive reality after death, hear grieving voices, see the room, watch the body lying motionless while being completely unable to return. And suddenly the fear of death becomes something far more psychological. Because maybe the most terrifying part is not dying itself. Maybe it is remaining aware after it happens. One ancient biblical passage says, "For dust you are, and to dust you shall return." But what returns first, the body or the soul? Because throughout Scripture, death is rarely described as destruction. It is described as departure. And maybe that is why so many ancient civilizations became obsessed with preparing for death through rituals, tombs, judgment ceremonies, and sacred crossings. As if humanity once believed the first moments after death were critically important. And maybe they still are.
So what truly happens during the first 7 minutes after death?
No one knows for certain, but across history one idea appears again and again. Death may not be the end of consciousness, only the moment everything begins to change. And if that is true, then the silence after the final heartbeat may not be silence at all.